We've all been there, having to shim scopes, running out of turret adjustments, not being able to get the crosshairs centralised on your digital scope. I've got a solution for you. This is the ZB Lite adjustable mount. Keep watching, I'll explain how it all works. Hi there guys, and welcome to another video. I'm Steve, and on this channel we do air rifles, air pistols and technology reviews. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to check out down below as well, underneath the YouTube video description, you'll find a link to our Facebook group, our 3D printing and ergonology store, our forums, as well as our cool merchandising. But yes, we have a sponsor for the first time in ergonology, and the sponsor is me. Yes, we've decided to start putting some products, extra products other than 3D printing, onto the ergonology store. And the very first one is this cool little unit called the ZB Lite. This is a fully adjustable Picatinny / Weaver mounting system. So, as the intro said, a lot of us have issues with trying to zero our scopes up and running out of turret room on our scopes. You know, you're trying to get it and you're trying to go up and down and you're right at the maximum and it doesn't work. And it happens a lot with the PARDs as well, be it if this is digital or just your standard mechanical optical scopes. The answer to that, as you've probably seen all over the Facebook groups, is to shim the back of your scope. In other words, lift the back of your scope up by putting a piece of cardboard, a piece of rubber, or a piece of tin can in there. Also, you'll find as well that if you've got something like a PARD that if you don't actually get it right, you'll find your crosshairs will not actually be totally central in your screen, off to one side, up or down a little bit. It's really, really annoying. And that is basically because of the mounting system that causes that. So this is where the ZB Lite comes in, and like I said, we've got these on the ergonology store, so check it down below. The first batch is almost sold out, we're getting more in soon, so check out there. But basically this is a Weaver to Weaver adapter. You drop that on, it has windage and elevation turrets. The whole thing itself only weighs about 200 grams, it's about 114 millimeters long on here. These turrets allow you then to zero the scope that you put on top of it. In fact, it'll allow you to zero anything you put on top of it. You can even put a monocular on top of this. So if you've got one of those thermal monoculars and you happen to have a Picatinny rail on the bottom of it, or can put one on it and you've got crosshairs, you can turn your monocular into scope, because this will actually zero. But basically you drop this on and it can go on that direction, any direction you want it on. And then you can zero up with the actual turrets. Now, the total degree of movement this gives you is 90 MOA in elevation, and it will give you 60 MOA in left and right windage. And each turn, nice precise clicks on here, each turn will give you 1/4 MOA. Really, really handy, useful little thing. Well, what I'm going to do is going to cut to a little desktop demonstration of how to mount it, talk a little bit about it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so ZB Lite itself comes in a nice little box like so. Inside the box you should find a nice set of instructions. If you've got any problems, just refer to the instructions. ZB Lite is in a nice little carry case like this. Really, really handy. Actually make a nice little pellet carrier this will as well. You then get some mounting hardware, 3 Allen keys to help you set it all up, and the actual unit itself. ZB Lite, fully metal construction, so let's just walk around it very quickly. We have Weaver rail at the top here, Weaver attachment at the bottom, Weaver stop on here. Do not take this out, this needs to stay there. We then have windage and elevation turrets here, nice little simple clicks to set it and zero up. When you first get it, just check it's all centralized up. You can tell this by checking the gaps down the side. Use the little spring here and the 2 Allen bolts here, and you'll be able to see where the center line is. Just change the windage just to get it all centered up as well. Go full adjustments on the actual elevation turret as well. Work out where the 0 point is, set it to 0 on there. Nice and simple. If you are going to fit this onto a dovetail type rail, then you will need to go and get hold of some of these, which are basically Weaver to dovetail, built on springs. They just clip themselves inside the units like so. I'll leave some links for these on Amazon where you can get them, and we are trying to get some of these onto the Ergonology store for you as well. But that's simple. It really does not take much of a rocket science to work this one out. Here's my FX Impact, standard Weaver rail at the top, with the locking nut. Just make sure it's nice and secure and tighten the unit up. Put it on, and then take your scope of choice. I've just got a random scope here, and then basically it is then a matter of then dropping on your unit onto it like so, and there we go, all set up. Obviously set it up so that you've got your right eye relief. Now what I do recommend you do is that if you're going to use the unit, is before you put your scope on, centralise your turrets, work out where the midpoint of your turrets is, centralise your windage and elevation. Put your scope onto your rifle, and then use the ZB light to actually then zero your scope in. That then will make sure that you've got full degree of movement in all of your turrets on your scope. If you don't like the unit on that way round, or you want more eye relief, you can quite happily switch the whole unit around and put it on backwards. And it works just as good. But beware that obviously your turrets will now be reversed, so up will equal down, left will equal right. And then of course then you can drop your scope on there to give you more eye relief if you so wish. One of the nice things about this whole unit is because of you're using the mount itself to do the zeroing, it solves a lot of problems you get with the PARDs and other digital scopes. What you're actually being able to do now is being able to use this mount itself to shim the scope. So those with the PARDs will know you've constantly got to shim the back of the scope and lift it up and down to get the crosshair centralized. And if you don't do it bang on perfectly, your crosshairs in your PARD themselves will not be central to the screen, which is really, really annoying. So what again I recommend you do is you set your PARD XY coordinates to 0. You set the whole unit up however you want it. You put your PARD unit on, you then zero with the ZB light itself, and then you've got full range of movement and hopefully centralized crosshairs with your PARD. A lot of people also ask, you know, is this adding extra undue height to the scope? Well, it's only about 15mm extra height it's adding, so not that much at all. But yeah, here's the ZB light, dead simple, nice and easy to use. It doesn't get much simpler than that. Set it all up. You can also use this with monoculars as well. So if you got yourself, let's say, a Bushel or a Vortex thermal monocular, and you've got a pick rail for it, then you can now use this as a rifle scope, because you can attach it onto here and use this to do the zeroing. So really, really handy on that. So guys, hopefully you're quite excited by this. As much as I am, I thought this is a really cool little product. And the amount of comments that we see on Facebook on the Ergonology site saying, I've run out of degrees of elevation and windage and my crosshairs aren't central, and it's always you've got to shim your scope and everything. This is actually really, really handy. Primarily designed for air rifles. You can use it up to small rimfire rifles on there, but really not for your big bore rifles, mainly for your air rifles on there. So yeah, these are now available on the Ergonology store. Check out the link down below. Like I said, they're selling like hotcakes. We're selling worldwide as well, so just check out there, sort all your postage and everything out for you on there. Nice and simple, beautiful, easy little mounts on it. So hopefully you like this. Hopefully you'll start to see some more little cool little items like this appearing on the Ergonology store. Let me know your thoughts. Have you got a ZB light? What do you think of it? Is it good? Does it work for you? I know I've had a lot of positive feedback on these already. Yeah, check out down below. The links are down there. And this has been a paid sponsor by me. ZB lights, they're cool.